Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword.
Hi, I'm Jean.
And I'm Mike. And today we are doing the crossword for Saturday, February 8th, 2025. Snow. Did you do the crossword?
Oh, I saw what you did there.
Ah, yes. Not so did you do the crossword, but snow did you do the crossword.
I certainly did.
Good. As an alternative to going out and shoveling? Or
No.
in addition to?
In addition
to. Okay.
How many times have we shoveled today?
I don't know.
Plenty.
Right. Fortunately, crosswording is an indoor sport.
Yes.
And
Yes, and considerably more enjoyable than shoveling.
I don't know, I sort of enjoyed the shoveling part, but
Oh, okay.
I'm glad I didn't have to do that and the crossword at the same
It
time.
would have been tough, yes.
What about the
yes.
crossword? Did you think the crossword was tough?
The crossword was tough, but fair.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time, I think, ever on a Saturday, I got the upper left corner fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I can never get the upper part of the puzzle done. But that upper left corner came to me fairly quickly.
Good.
But then, but then I didn't get anything till I got down to the lower right corner, and I kind of got that put together. And then I went over to kind of the lower left corner, and I got a few there, and I got a few up at the top. And eventually I got them all filled in except for one square.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I knew what to put in there. And then I realized that the square below it had the wrong letter in it. So once I changed that, it solved. And that was 32 across. Capo example. And I had C blank AMP.
Right.
So I thought, well, it could be clamp, it could be champ, or it could be cramp. And so I always forget that capo is part of a guitar. You know, it's like the clamp on a guitar neck. And I always forget that. So I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then I looked at the one, and I thought, well, I think it's probably clamp, because I don't think it has anything to be with a champ or a cramp. But it still didn't solve. But then I looked at the one below it, 35 across, crunchy, chocolatey smoothie add-ins. And I'm like, oh, cacao chips. But I spelled it C-O-C-A-O instead of C-A-C-A-O. And so then once I put the A in, it solved.
Right. So 25 down was causing problems with two squares.
I didn't know that answer. 25 down was a character, right? Titled Toni Morrison character who lives in the bottom. And that was Sula.
Yes.
And I am not familiar with that Toni Morrison novel or what. So I'll have to look that up.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm. As always, the New York Times trying to guide you to a more educated life.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Checking out the classics.
Yep.
As I assume that is.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think of it?
I thought it was pretty straightforward for a Saturday. I mean, Saturdays can be impossible. Mm-hmm. But I got, like you, I sort of got the top left, then sort of went down and got most of the middle and bottom left corner. Mm-hmm. And then I made progress in various areas, which was gratifying. I didn't run into one area like I'm stuck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I was always able to get something.
Right.
And, you know, you get a little here and a little there, and you think, oh, that kind of looks like this, and you put it in, and it's like, oh, yes, it was that. And then you start being able to recognize other answers. And so, yeah, like 23 across, plant item used in early genetic experiments. Well, I knew it was peas. You know, Mendel, and he did use the peas, Edgar Mendel. Well, the answer was pea pod. So I put in pea and wasn't quite sure what to do with the rest of that. But then I thought, well, maybe it could be pea pod, because they did use pod. You know, they looked at the different ways, you know, if the peas were wrinkled or smooth or whatever. And so I put in pea pod. And then I was like, oh, yeah, T-bird. Oh, yeah, portobello. You know, it all just sort of helped once I got those 3 letters in.
Right. Yeah, I actually started for 23 across with people. Because I had a P and an E and a blank and a P and 2 more letters, and I thought people looked good. It had nothing at all to do with the actual clue.
Plant item.
Right. But there were just a few areas there, like 21 down. 2010 satirical reality series starring comedian Fielder, and it was Nathan for You.
Right, yes. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I found that to be sort of a major struggle because I also didn't know 21 across. Gas-infused coffee order. I had the T as the 3rd letter, and it's 5 letters, and I thought, it's latte.
Me too.
Really?
But that's what I put in my. Well, they don't infuse any air in a latte. They just whip it.
I have no idea how they make it, so it sounded plausible to me. So I was trying to get Nathan for You, starting with the letter L, and that didn't go well.
No. But eventually I had I got the TRO, and I'm like, well, it looks like nitro. And so that's kind of how I got that, because I didn't know 10 down. Common but often counterproductive response to a recurring problem.
An anti-pattern.
Anti-pattern. What is an anti-pattern? Do you know?
Well, like in computer science, you have what are called design patterns. They're sort of like standard ways of approaching things. And they're considered sort of like best practices. An anti-pattern is like the worst way to do something. So like, for example, there's an anti-pattern called ball of mud as a way of organizing things. The pattern is how you properly design your software, and one anti-pattern is just make a big ball of mud out of the thing.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But yeah, I think 10 across in that area, studios say bruh was APTS for apartments.
Right.
Boy, when they said studios, I started thinking about like Walt Disney and Apple TV Plus. That took me a while. And I didn't know the one beneath it. Celebrity chef with a role in the 1995 film Casino, Nobu.
Right. No, I didn't know that one either.
They put quotes around casino. I think they should put quotes around celebrity. Although I'm sure they really are a celebrity. I've
heard of a restaurant called Nobu. That's a really trendy restaurant.
I think he owns a restaurant, and he's a Japanese. He sort of fuses Japanese and Peruvian foods.
Oh my.
So, which is probably, because I don't think any of it's vegetarian, so I haven't paid too much attention to Nobu.
Right. Well, that 10 across, I thought of, MGM and things like that, but then I thought, studios, that could be apartments. So then I put in APT, and again, that really helped.
Yes. Well, I was.
When you get the first letter of a clue,
right,
that always helps more, I think, than even getting some of the middle letters.
Well, I got T-Bird just with the D. I am really impressed myself. It's just I'm trying to think of some sort of a car, and it's like an old car, and just somehow I got that. So that helped. Helped my confidence too.
For 18 across, prune, I put trim. I thought it's probably not trim. That's too obvious, but turned out it was trim. So that was good.
Let's see, what else did we have here? 26 down I found to be a major struggle. Calculated. No accident.
Right.
It's like I saw something that looked like it might have been accident, but I didn't know where to go with it. And then I started thinking it was going to be mathematics or something, but I don't know. That was a pretty good clue.
Right.
Another great clue. 28 down, covert field, ? BCC.
Yes, that took a while, but then it was like so satisfying when I finally figured out what that was.
Yeah, that was good.
And 5 down was a challenge for me just because of the spelling. Snap, crackle, or pop. And I had the O, I think, in the N, and I'm like, it's onomatopoeia now. How do you spell that?
Yeah.
And it is one word where you've got 4 vowels in a row. It's
that is true.
P-O-E-I-A at the end.
The O-E-I-A, yes.
You don't see that too often.
Right. I just sort of gritted my teeth and plunged in, and I think I got it right, which amazed me no end. I'd like to thank my grade 4 teacher, the one with the whip, that ensured that I was able, a few years later, to spell that properly. Unlike King Kamehameha from a couple of days ago. Let's see. We had 29 across was Assessment for Dummies crash test.
Yes.
That was great. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know 37 across. Perhaps you did. Blank Larson, Harlem Renaissance novelist. Nella.
No, I did not.
You didn't know Nella?
Nope.
How about 51 across? Teacup, Minnie.
Yes.
Okay. Want to explain that to me?
I didn't know right away, but that's like a breed of like a poodle. It's called like a teacup poodle.
Like a small dog,
it's a
right?
smaller version of a regular breed.
Does it actually fit in a teacup?
No, but they are very, very small.
Oh, okay.
You know, they're very tiny little dogs.
So you have to make sure you don't step on your dog or something.
Yeah.
Around Minnie, we had 49 across. Niche product of Coca-Cola and 7-Up. Cherry soda.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be cola.
Oh, uh-huh.
I don't know. I doubt Coca-Cola calls it cherry soda. It seemed...
No, they don't.
But Alina Abidi does. Abidi does. She is the author of this crossword, and she has done a total of 5 in the New York Times.
Oh, well, this was a good one.
Mm-hmm. I noticed we had 42 down. That was NYC attraction, MoMA.
Yep.
And we just had that
Right.
as the repository of the Warhol's Campbell Soup pictures.
That's right. That's right.
So glad to see MoMA's back in the New York Times.
That's true.
I guess you could do Mama. Too bad they didn't have MoMA and Mama like next to each other.
Then you'd have 2 M's and 2 A's.
They could do it.
Well, maybe they'd have to kind of be in the middle.
Right.
Well, you couldn't have 2 A's next to each other. So.
Sure you can. We've seen a couple like that. Remember, we always look at it and think, as we're solving independently, as we always do, but I think we have the same reaction. It's like, that looks wrong.
Well, yeah, like the name Aaron, that starts with 2 A's, and Isaac has 2 A's.
And they like to use AA batteries and AAA batteries, and sometimes baseball leagues, right? AA.
So I liked 52 across. It was in brackets. This might come in handy later. And it was note to self.
Yes, that was nice. The one that follows 53 across, hill workers, ants.
Ants, yes, I knew that.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. I think we've had that clue before.
Well, my very last solution, or my very last solve, involved, let's see here, 17 across. It gets inflated and goes straight to your head. Balloon hat.
Yes.
And I didn't know that, and I also didn't know 9 down, term of blank. I thought that could be anything. Well, actually, the only word I could come up with was endearment, which was not going to fit into 3 squares.
No.
Term of art.
Right.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I had never heard of that phrase either.
Oh, okay.
Term of art.
Well, we'll have to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But anyways, this was a great crossword, again by Alina Abidi. Well done, Alina.
Nice job.
And now, since it's Saturday, it is time to pick our JAMCOTWA. The Gene and Mike Crossword of the Week Award, where we go back through all 7 crosswords of the previous week and identify what we deem to be the very best.
That's
and this week we picked...
Tuesday.
Yay, Tuesday.
Tuesday by Adam Aronson.
2 A's.
Ooh, 3. If
Well,
you count
yeah.
the one in Adam.
Right.
So, but yes, 2 A's in a row. This was a very clever puzzle, a nice Tuesday solve. But the theme was just so unique, where he took the answers were all 2-word answers, and both of the words used the same letters except the last 2 were inverted. So he had to come up with some really clever clues, and he had to find some words that were very close in spelling, but that you could put together and create a clue about them. Mm-hmm. So, for example, 17 across was noiseless, and the answer was quite quiet. So transpose that T and E from quite to make quiet. Mm-hmm. And then the second one was 25 across, View of Earth from Heaven. That was my favorite. Angel Angle. And then we had also Exits Exist and Venmo Venom.
Yeah.
And the revealer was 34 across, which was gymnastics feet, or what the two halves of the answers to the theme clues do. And that was backflips, where the last two, or the back two letters, flipped to create a different word that solved the puzzle.
Absolutely ingenious.
Yeah. Very, very clever. So.
All right. And again, this was by Adam Aronson. And Adam, if you feel so inclined, drop us a line, crosswordpodcast@icloud.com.
Yep.
And we will have some lovely Northeast Wisconsin swag.
You bet.
As well as a t-shirt. Include your size and mailing address.
Yep. If expect it to come soon, don't. Because we'll be digging out for a while. But yes.
All right.
Hopefully the snow will not keep coming down forever. But
yep.
Right now we're in the midst of a blizzard.
I think it's almost over.
I hope so.
All right. Well, that is it for today then. So thanks everyone for listening.
Yep.
Hope you're enjoying these podcasts. Let us know. Crosswordpodcast@icloud.com. Sunday's Crosswords out. We're going to tackle it. We hope you will too, and come back to hear us talk about it tomorrow.
Bye-bye.